Hey, living environment fans across Canada, the United States, and Newfoundland, and territories overseas. Welcome to Living Environment class. Of course, today now is Tuesday. Yesterday was Monday, although I felt like Friday because I used Friday Bellringer on Monday, but now I'm using Tuesday's Bellringer on Tuesday, unless something crazy happened between yesterday and today, and then who knows? Time is just a construct anyway, don't you think? Anyway, what are we talking about? We're talking about the nucleus of cells. We're going to dive into DNA and the DNA code and what that all means. So that's what we're into today. Don't forget, we're still reading The Hot Zone, so you got a book talk tomorrow. And yeah, let's do the bell ringer.
All right.
Hey now.
Mr. Kovacs class. It's Mr. Kovacs class. You might learn a ton. It's Mr. Kovacs class.
He's interested too.
It's Mr. Kovacs class.
And he's super cool.
It's Mr. Kovacs class.
Mighty double helix. Double helix, that's the name of the shape of the DNA molecule, right? It's like a rope ladder that's been twisted. DNA molecule. Along the sides of the ladder are sugars called deoxyribose sugars. That's the D of DNA, deoxyribose, name of the sugars. And then the rungs of the ladder, the little rungs in between the sides, those are made up of nucleic acid nucleotides. That's the Na part, the nucleic acid. So deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA. And of course, DNA is a chemical that contains genes or genetic information. And that's what we're going to start to uncover over the next few weeks here. DNA, when it's sitting in the cell, is all kind of like threaded up in what we call chromatin. But if you uncurl the thread of chromatin, you'll get right down to the DNA molecule. And if you uncurl that, you'll see that the rungs of the ladder are nucleotides. And the nucleotides, there's only 4 of them. Their names are adenine, which we call by the initial A, thymine, called by the initial T, guanine, the initial G, and cytosine, the initial C. So A, T, C, and G. A, T, C, and G. Those are the 4 letters, the 4 chemicals of DNA. And it's really, if you think of it as a language, it's the language of life is written in 4 letters. See, to make an eggplant, you have to put your A's, T's, C's, and G's in a certain order. To make a make a mushroom, you'd have to put your A's, T's, C's, and G's in a different order. To make a people, you'd have to put your A's, T's, C's, and G's into a slightly different order, right? And you probably make sense, but things that look a lot alike usually have fairly close order of A's, T's, C's, and G's. And the things that are more different from each other, they have less similarities in their A's, T's, C's, and G's. Right? It's not going to surprise you that like you share 98% of your A's, C's, T's, and G's are in the exact same order as a chimpanzee, but only about 50% of your A's, T's, C's, and G's are in the exact same order as a banana. Makes sense. You got a lot more in common with a chimpanzee than a banana, don't you think? And there's 3 things we need to learn about DNA. One is called replication. It's when DNA copies itself. That's pretty easy. That's just splitting your DNA in half and then matching up the A's, T's, C's, and G's in the right way. And we'll talk about the pattern in a moment. The second thing they do is transcription, where you basically copy just a little piece of the DNA molecule, a gene, and you send that gene out to the ribosome to be turned into a protein, translation. So we have 3 words we'll need to learn: replication, transcription, and translation. And here's the famous Watson and Crick model. What Watson and Crick figured out was that the rungs of the ladder always stuck together in the same pattern, right? There are 4 chemical bases, A, T, C, and G, right? And what they found is that the A's always match up with the T's, the G's always match up with the C's. A's match up with T's, G's with C's. A's go with T's, G's with C's. So on the rungs of the ladder, whenever you have guanine on one side, you're gonna have cytosine on the other. When you have an adenine on one side, you're gonna have thymine on the other, right? A's go with T, G's go with C. And this actually is really simple, and it makes copying DNA super simple. You just have to unzip your original strand, right? Match the A's with the T's, G's with the C's, and now you have 2 new strands that are identical to the one that you started with. See that? Yeah, that's called replication, right? Unzip, match the A's with the T's and the G's with the C's. Replication, that's copying a DNA molecule, right? A's with T's, G's with C's. Let's see what else. A's with T's, G's with C's. If you learned anything today, our take-home message today is that DNA is made up of sugar, right, and some phosphates too, as the like sides of the ladder. But the rungs of the ladder are the important part. That's made up of the 4 nucleotides: adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. A, T, C, and G. A, T, C, and G. Know them, love them, learn them. A, T, C, and G. And always know that A matches up with T, G matches up with C. A with T, G with C, always. If you know those, if you can learn those, you're gonna fly through genetics. All right, let's get to class today. Let's go.